So when you have that expectation, especially in intimacy in a relationship, that then who knows what happens in the future, but then there's a breakup. How does that make you feel when you had that vision?
Yeah, my mom always told me that I thought a lot with my heart, and I'm a logical thinker as well. But I think when you're blinded by love, it's like, that there's that hope, and like, I think what I had with her, there, like, I held on to any bit of hope.
Really?
And yeah, and I don't know. I wish. I don't know. Like, I think I love very, what's the word? I love hard. Like,
Love deep.
I love deeply, and I love, like, I don't know. I like dedicated a lot of my time to being the best boyfriend I could.
Really?
To her. Yeah. And
the bond was strong.
Yeah, the bond was strong. And that's not like to toot my own horn or anything. Like, I'm very confident in the way that we were together, and things just, it's life. Like, things just don't last always, and things aren't forever. And I don't know, I still have so much love for her, and it's just one of those things where we both have stuff to figure out, and we both have a lot of growing to do, because I think us hopping into that relationship, and us, not even relationship aside, I think us having the careers we do now has stunted a lot of things that would have, I don't know, like, I think it's stunted a lot of things that, like, a normal 19-year-old should have experienced.
Like what?
Like, she never went to college, for example. So in school years, I was ahead of her 1 year. So I had, like, a bit of a college experience, whereas she was going to go to Alabama and, like, get that experience.
She never had it.
She never had it. And
she went right to Hollywood.
Right to Hollywood.
It's intense, man.
It's intense. And it's really straight out of the movies. Like, it's really one of those things where it's like, you move to Hollywood, but in, like, there was never that. It's just so different than what you see in the movies, where, like, you go out to Hollywood, you get a job as a waiter, and then, like, you're going to auditions and you're, like, trying to make it. Whereas, like, we kind of moved out because we made it.
Made it.
Yeah, we moved out, and we had the like, I wouldn't have dropped my Division I full ride scholarship. I wouldn't have dropped that for nothing. Like, I had a guaranteed spot in this house, a guaranteed, like, lots of talks with, like, the manager of the house, and was like, we can promise you that you'll grow. We can promise you that we can provide this in, like, exposure. And I was just like,
okay.
Like, let's give it a shot. It's like, soccer was on pause at the time, so it was one of those things. But yeah, we kind of, like, and when she moved out, like, they had made it. And it's one of those things where, I don't know, it's crazy. Yeah.
Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive in. You may be watching the show, but haven't taken a moment to click the subscribe button below. So if you've ever gained value from this show, it would mean so much to me if you click the subscribe button right now. And not only will this allow you to see these messages first, all this great content we have, you're gonna get notified first when it comes out. But the bigger our subscriber base grows, the more people we can impact, and the bigger the guests we can get on this show as well. So again, thank you so much, as always, for your support. It means the world to me. Make sure to click the subscribe button below, and let's dive into this conversation.
If you could go back right before you moved here, right before you met her, and give yourself advice, 3 pieces of advice about entering a relationship with someone, whether it's her or anyone, knowing what you know now, after a lot of highs, amazing connection, a lot of love, a bond, but then, a heartbreak and some sadness. What advice would you give to yourself at 19?
I would, number one, I would say, protect yourself, protect your heart. And I think that is, like, something that I'm very, it's guarded up now.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. I think, yeah, protecting yourself, taking it slow. We were 19, we really liked hanging out with each other. So we were like, we might as well date, it's one of those things. And so, and especially when COVID was happening, we were with each other every single day. And it was like, I think, you know, when you're constantly available for someone, that can be taken advantage of. And I think being less available in the future, not because I want to. Yeah, I want to be there like every single day. I want like to drop anything at like the sound of the text, and like what are you doing? Oh, what do you want me to be doing? Like, you know, just how I am. Like, and like my mom.
You're a lover.
Yeah, I'm a lover. I love, but it's also what makes me the most sad sometimes. And I think that's.
Well, if you give and give and give, and then there's maybe an unspoken expectation, or you would hope or wish someone would do the same for you. And I'm not speculating anything here. I'm just saying, you know, when you're a giver and you want to see someone happy, and you love the feeling of being with someone, and you feel happier together, it's really challenging when it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And I've had many sad breakups that were painful and hard and challenging, but at the same time taught me the most about how I can be a better person, how I can create better boundaries for myself, how I can courageously communicate consciously in better ways with, you know, the next partner I was with, to make sure that I focus on my vision first and then bringing the relationship in second, as opposed to dropping everything always for the partner. There's a balance there, but
filling up your own cup and then
filling up your own cup constantly,
having them fall in love with the overflow. Yeah, that was like, I think, like that's one of the things that she taught me was, and I think unintentionally she taught me to like really protect myself.
Really?
I fall hard and fast, and I was I don't know, everything kind of just moved very quickly. And then when you are a giver, it's one of those things where you just so bad want to see them happy, and then when you realize it's not you, and when you realize, or not even when you, like, I never fully realized that, like, that was the thing. I was like, nah, like, I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm gonna try my hardest to like
make it work,
you know, and always gonna be available. I'm never gonna give her a reason to not be happy. And then you realize it's when they constantly keep telling you it's not you, like, it's the hardest thing, because it's like, look, I know it's not me, but like, I know it's not me making you sad because I'm doing everything I can to make you happy, but I'm gonna try to be the one to make you happy.
Right.
And it's like, when they constantly tell you like there's just nothing you can do, it's like, I don't want to take no for an answer, you know? I don't want to say like I don't want to like accept the fact that I can't make my girlfriend happy. And that was probably the biggest thing that we ran into was,
man, I know that feeling. I see a lot of myself in you with that, because as athletes, you don't want to fail.
No.
And you're like, well, I'm going to do whatever it takes. We're going to make this work. Even if it's hurting me, I'm going to do what it takes to make this work.
Yeah. I've had so many people,
And that is a painful realization.
Yeah.
When you're like, I'm doing everything. I'm shifting. I'm changing who I am just so that it works. And then it doesn't work. And you're like, wow, I just shifted my whole identity for a relationship that no longer doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I did that too many times.
Yeah.
I repeated that pattern in many relationships because partners I chose, for whatever reason, weren't happy with me.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to change to try to make them happy, and it never worked. And I finally realized, it took me until a few years ago, that I finally realized that you can't make your partner happy. You can add to their happiness.
Right.
But they got to focus on their own happiness.
Yeah, as soon as it becomes reliant.
If someone's a 5 out of a 10, you can't bring them to a 9 consistently. You might be able to influence them to get to a 6 moments here and there and add to their happiness.
Yeah.
But if they are not doing their life in a way that brings them joy and fulfillment, there's not much we can do.
No.
And that's a hard thing for athletes like us who want to win and want to succeed and want to like accomplish. It's really hard, man.
Yeah.
And the thing that I want to acknowledge you for, Noah, is being 22. And you mentioned talking to a therapist. I think I would have never at 22 talked to a therapist.
Yeah. I
started at 30, 10 years ago, talking to therapists. And it was one of the best things it ever did for me. It helped me bring me so much peace. It's what's got me to a high 8, low 9 of inner peace.
Yeah.
It's having that place to process, having that place to learn new tools. So the fact that you're doing this at 22, I really commend you for that and acknowledge you for doing that, because I think it's a powerful tool to use. Now, what advice would you give to yourself moving forward and navigating this next season? Because I know you're trying to figure out like, okay, well, who am I again? And you know, you love deeply, but do you even think it's, you know, worth getting into another relationship soon with someone? Or is it like you want to give yourself space and time to kind of really focus on yourself and your career? What's the advice you would give yourself of this next chapter?
Yeah. I think that's something I'm like actively searching for is at the end of the day, like just doing what makes me happy and finding out what makes me happy is like, again, like a never ending search, because it's like, yeah, this makes me happy in the moment, you know, like going to an amusement park, riding rides with like friends and stuff like that. Like that makes me happy, but that's not something I can like apply to my everyday life that can make me more at peace with myself. Like, you know, so doing things, I don't know, like I really, I don't know. I think these past few months I've really, like what we were talking about before the camera, it's one of those things where when you end with someone on good terms, it's hard because it's like...
You guys ended on good terms?
On great terms.
On great terms?
Great terms.
So it was like, you still cared,
but that makes it even harder because it's like,
still...
then it gets dragged out, like even though it was a year ago, it gets dragged out, and then it's like, you're still there for each other, and then, you know, you still want to tell your person every good thing that happens, you still want to like tell them like, hey, this happened today, like, and then, you know, and I don't know. And then as soon as, yeah, I'm...
So was it like some blow up? And
no, not at all.
Get away from me and I hate you.
Not at all.
I love you so much, but we can't be together right now.
We have to grow apart. We have to...
Gosh, that's the hardest.
The hardest. And that's why it's tricky now because, you know, it comes to a point where I was telling you, like, where you almost... You wake up a bit confused sometimes because I'm like, you know, I feel like I'm good, you know, like I feel like I want to rekindle it. Like I want to give it another go, you know, and then ultimately it's not up to you. When the other person's fully in control of
the decision,
and when the ball's in their court, I mean, like when you're ready, just know that I'm here. It's a bit tricky. There's a bit of a power play that's like, as much as I just want to like wait around because I do enjoy this person so much and like, yeah, and it's hard to imagine life without them sometime. There is like this, when you kind of go no contact, you kind of step away from it. And then it's like months, like a couple months go by and it's like, okay, wow, like I'm feeling better. Like the first month is really hard, I'm feeling better. Then all of a sudden, all it takes is
little point back in.
All it takes is like a text, like, "Hey,
man, girls
miss you."
Girls know what they're doing, man.
They know exactly.
Girls know what they're doing sometimes.
It's so tricky, and a lot like you. Like I don't drink, and I've never drank in my life. I've never done any drugs. I don't have that excuse sometimes. Where sometimes
so you gotta feel it.
I'm still
feel the pain and the sadness. You gotta go through the experiences.
Exactly. And I don't have that excuse as to, sorry, I didn't mean to text. Like I was drunk. And all right. It's like, it's been 3 months and you randomly, and so it's like, now I'm back into it. And so that's the hardest part, is knowing that like, if I decide to text you, that is sober me. That is me that genuinely means it. You know, it's never a question of like I don't, like, was this just a drunk text? Like, does she mean it? Like this,
right.
that. It's like, from me, it's like, I'm going to respect your boundaries, but if it comes to a point where I'm just like, I don't care, like, I'm just going to follow my heart. Like, I want to do this again. It's like, I don't know. It's tricky. It's very tricky. But yeah, this feels a lot like like talks that I have with like a therapist.
Yeah, of course, man.
And it's, yeah, I'm glad I started talking to him too, because I've had friends that recommended me.
Wow.
Because I don't know, even when things started to get really good, even when I started to get into a better mindset of like, you know, life goes on and I can love this person from afar, but right now it's like, if we're meant to be, there's no rush. And it's like, we'll find each other. So I think there's really no point in rushing it. And that's like what I kind of had to accept. And so with this therapist, I'm like, it's nice talking to someone when things are good, so that they stay good.
That's the best time, dude.
Because it's like, when they're bad, it's like, you have tools to use, like when things are like, when you get in that mindset of thinking, when you go down a rabbit hole, it's like, remember what they told you, like do this, do that. But when you're happy, it's like, you know, that's the time when you're supposed to stay happy.
When I entered the relationship I'm in with my girlfriend, Martha, we started dating. We took it slow.
Yeah.
We took it slow, which I'd never done in the past. But I decided I'm going to do everything different.
Yeah.
And we took it slow. I was also doing individual therapy. And we made a commitment, an agreement together before we got exclusively committed.
Yeah.
We said, I made a suggestion, but she was like quickly to agree. I said, hey, I would really like to start in therapy together, couples therapy.
Yeah.
And just try it differently. Because I'd been in a lot of failed relationships. I tried a lot of stuff and none of it worked. So let me try something completely different.
Yeah.
She was like, absolutely, I'm down. And it has been the greatest gift we have given ourselves and the relationship, because any disagreement, any misunderstanding, any confusion or feeling of like, oh, that didn't feel good, we're able to communicate it consciously whenever we go to that session together. And it allows us to create ground rules. It allows us to create boundaries. It allows us to create agreements. And it brings me more peace.
Yeah.
Having that understanding. And someone equally as committed to personal growth as I am.
Love it.
And it's, I'm not saying you need to do that 22 in the relationship that you get next, but for me, doing it when things are good is the best time to do it. So I really acknowledge you for doing that.
Yeah.
I love the lessons that you would give your younger self.
Yeah.
Take it slow.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like, you know, you had this realization, hey, we're meant to be, we'll find each other at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a week, a year, 3 years, you know. So taking it slow, I think, is great wisdom that you shared with yourself.
Took some time to come to that, though. It definitely took some time to like acknowledge that was the case, because I'm like, you're sitting there fighting for it, and it's like, we'll make this work. Let's do it. Let's give it another go.
What do you need, and how can I do this for you?
How can I help? You know, like, don't worry about how I'm feeling, because that does not matter right now. Like, what matters is like we make you happy, and it's like, at what cost? Like, at what point is it like, do you have to take a step back? Because if I saw one of my friends doing this,
what would you say to them?
I'd be like, dude, come on, like you got to put yourself first. Like you have to like think, you know. And I'm like, it's so hard when you're blinded by it.
Man.
But yeah.
So if you saw a friend of yours struggling in a relationship, you'd be like, hey, if she needs space, give her space and go focus on your life.
Yeah, it's so hard to
right?
do. Yeah, it's so hard when you're in it, because it's like,
and you know what the
such a
sexiest thing?
fixer.
And you know what the sexiest and most attractive thing is for a woman? Is when a man is fully committed to his vision and his mission, taking care of his life, in service to his friends, his family, his community, and joyful.
Yeah.
Not needing a relationship, not checking in constantly to see, hey, what can I do for you? But in his purpose, that is when women are most attracted to men.
Yeah.
And
two independents coming together. Yeah.
And then you can come together and support one another with each other's lives individually and together. But if you're always in support, I think it's amazing. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I think it's like, wow, that's like a dream guy.
Right.
Who's always here to show up for her.
And like, I'm flattered that you say that, because it's like, in my head, I'm like, you know, who's the kind of guy I want dating my daughter, or daughter,
future kids,
future kid, but also my sisters. You know, I'm very like, even though I'm the youngest, like I'm still very protective of my sisters. And like, if they started talking to a guy and I don't like him, I'm gonna tell her. I'm like, don't waste your time. Like, I don't like this guy. Like, and here's why. But fortunately, I haven't really had to say that to either of them. They're good at picking, which is nice. But I think it's one of those things where, I don't know, like I don't ever really want to change how, like, those qualities about myself. And I've questioned them, because I'm like, this isn't working right now. Do I don't know, like I get so split in between two minds of like, this isn't working. Should I try the latter? Should I?
You shouldn't be a jerk.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't ever want to even like question, like, should I, you know, because there's that saying, nice guys finish last. And it's like, I don't think that's the case, honestly. Like, I really think like kindness wins at the end of the day. It's like,
but it's not about changing, it's about evolving.
Right.
And it's keeping the core of who you are, the values, the generosity, the kindness, the support. That's like a dream.
Yeah.
As a friend and as a partner.
Right.
And it's evolving into saying, my health, my mission, my values need to be my number one priority.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely.
and most people don't, like most people in a relationship don't like hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my personal experience. Again, I'm not sharing this as like what everyone should do. But when I shifted this and I said, instead of making someone else number one and making my mission and my health number one, and then a relationship second or third,
Yeah.
everything shifted for me. And my relationship is healthy and happy. My girlfriend loves that about me because I have it on purpose. And she still thinks I'm very generous and giving, and I show up in a big way.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're changing into like, I'm never going to be there. The complete opposite. It's showing up for yourself the way you would for someone like that
Right.
first, and then showing up for them.
Right. No, it makes sense. Prioritizing other things. Yeah. And yeah.
That's it.
It's really fun having a community like that, and like knowing that 10, 30 seconds out of your day to stop into a group chat and be like, hey guys, I hope you all are well. Like, not forgetting about you. I think that can really like, it's crazy that can make someone's day.
Yeah.
And with cancel culture,